saying the Boys and Girls Club. You hear me clap once? Hear me clap twice? All right, so I know I have everybody's attention. My name is DURELL PETWAY, and I am the Director of Operations for the Boys and Girls Club of the Tar River region. And I just want to welcome all our guests here, say thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules. I know everybody is pivoting and doing the best they can during these times, so I just want to take this time to say thank you and welcome everybody. And I'm going to call Jeremy up to the stage from US Cellular to start us off for our program, all right? All right, thank you, Jeremy.
All right. Good afternoon. I almost want to do the clap myself. It is awesome to be back with you all. It's been a while. So I think as you just talked about, COVID has changed a lot of things for us, but one thing that it hasn't changed for US Cellular is our commitment to the Boys and Girls Club. And working with Ron for quite some time, we're excited to be able to provide hotspots. And so just for those that maybe didn't know, and I heard you guys talk about it earlier, it's 115 hotspots, but it really provides so much more connection to even more people because you can have multiple users per hotspot. We're excited about that. And it was a good investment, $75,000 for the Tar River region to be able to take part and use technology. I'm sure all of you will be able to run circles around some of us older folks in using that technology, but we're glad we could provide it and make sure that you have that. So something I'll say that's so important, I'm from Rocky Mount, born and raised here, been here my whole life. Connectivity is key. And something that I enjoy doing each and every day is I work for an organization that connects people to things that are important. And what that is now is the technology in front of you allows you to reach out and do things maybe you couldn't do before. And that could be here at the club. So if I heard right, you were just looking up colleges and seeking all the important aspects about college. That's a device that'll allow you to do that. What's neat about that device too, you don't have to do that just here. So my understanding is you're going to have some opportunities to take those home if you need to, and stay connected. And that's very important to us, and I hope it's important to you. And I'm glad we could help do that. I'm also super proud to have several representatives from my team that are local to the area. So I've got both store managers here in Rocky Mount at our Sunset store and our Jeffries Road store. So Ron and Tisha, familiar faces. I know you've met them. And then Doug Cade, our area manager, is here as well. This warms our heart to be able to be with you guys often, and especially be able to donate a gift. So Ron and team, always, it's a pleasure. I'm glad we got to come back and do an event this year, and looking forward to many more. So with that, I think I'm going to hand it over to our mayor, Sandy, and let him say a few words to you.
What I want to do is I want to thank US Cellular for their dedication to not just the Boys and Girls Club, but to our community. You know, this gift represents a steady opportunity for all of us to be able to connect into a much greater, broader world, to open our horizons, to be able to see things, learn things that we might not otherwise have the opportunity to do so. If COVID taught us anything, that it is important and essential that we maintain that connectivity in any way that we possibly can. So part of me is jealous because you got a pretty cool MiFi and I don't have one. But I'm excited about the ability for you to be able to go forward and do this over and over and over. I think it speaks to the Boys and Girls Club, their dedication to our community, to you individually, to each one of us, in terms of providing opportunity, in terms of being able to open up horizons for everyone to achieve and to be successful. Now look, I know that you're going to schools, and I gotta tell you, I want everybody to check out Hampden-Sydney College. Unfortunately, it's only a male college. But if you want to get in, if it's something that tickles your fancy, I'd love to give you a tour up there. I'd love to help you through the admissions process if in fact that's something that speaks to you. So that's my shameless plug for my alma mater. With that, I want to say thank you, Ron, your team. I want to say thank you, US Cellular, your team. Your commitment to our community in the city of Rocky Mount is unsurpassed, and something that is so critical to our success going forward. And I appreciate all that you're doing to shape the young minds in our community. And I think at this point in time, I'm supposed to introduce you. So if you'll come on up here and say a few words, and I want to thank you. I want to recognize Councilman Richard Joyner here too for coming. Maybe you want to say a few words for Ron?
Go ahead, Richard.
I mean, I've never seen a preacher that didn't have a few words to speak.
Certainly, kudos to words that our mayor has said to you. It is a privilege to serve with the mayor and the mayor pro tem, and the great opportunity and the human development that the Boys and Girls Club have brought to our region. I'm excited not only about here, but Tarboro and Nash County and other areas, the Twin County opportunity. So again, on behalf of our mayor and our great city in this Twin County region, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
So you know you gotta always let the politicians go, even though they're my friends. I have to say that. Before I get started, I also want to recognize our board president, Mr. Todd Henson, that's standing over here. And just like you got to also let Todd say, Todd, you got a few words you would like to say? Come on, Todd. He could not. Yeah, you got to say something.
You know I do. Just from the organization, from the board of directors, we really just want to thank USA. That partnership, the relationship we've got, it means a lot. It was an important strategic goal of the board for this organization to address connectivity, to address the need for these kids to have every advantage that they can have. This is who we're here for, are these kids, these boys and girls who are our future, and you guys have done a lot today to change their future. And we appreciate that from an organization, from all the board members, from us, just thank you. And we appreciate it.
Thanks. And as I say, now the protocol has been established. I know it was several years ago, we were having a conversation. Actually, the mayor and I was before he was mayor, and we was talking about how do we level the playing field for a lot of our young people who are living in some areas where we consider at risk, or they come through some situation that we consider at risk, and how do we help them to live out their promise, right? So we were talking about it, and he was talking about a trip that he had, and it was an educational kind of conference over in Europe, and he was talking about this device called a Raspberry Pi. And I was like, I don't know anything about that. You know, on Raspberry Pi, I know it's one you eat. But it was talking about something that's affordable to allow young people to have access to the digital world. And we were talking about the digital divide being the number one thing that causes, causes the young people to not have the equal playing field, the level playing field. So how do we do that? How do we shorten or shrink the digital divide and actually build bridges so that you have access, right? Because if you want to get from one side to another and you don't have a way to get there, you build a bridge if it had to go across something. So we want to thank you at Cellular for helping us to build a bridge. Build a bridge to have access to broadband. Because we know in this area, broadband is a problem. And we know that many of our homes, even this facility here in Rocky Mount, when we opened up for remote learning, we had, I think that the max at the time was 50 young people. Well, we had less than 1 gig of access. So y'all know it was kept going off on it, right? And y'all were complaining, Mr. Green, why don't you fix this internet? And I was like, Mr. Green done everything he can. But when US Cellular came and said we're gonna allow you to give you 115 hotspots, now we've helped to bridge that gap to level the playing field. So now you have access to do things like you're doing today. You know, when they say you're in class and you have to go in remote learning, you go into class, now you're not spotty, right? Or you're not getting kicked out of class, you're in class, you got access. Or when you go home, instead of going to somewhere that has free Wi-Fi and parking in the parking lot, or going to a restaurant or whatever to use the Wi-Fi, now you have Wi-Fi and you can do it at the comfort of your own home. But these are things that we're trying to do to make sure that you have access to everything that you need to have academic success. Because we want you to make sure that you have every opportunity to grow into what you can and should become. And the only way we ever do that is to remove some of those roadblocks out the way. And broadband is one of those things, and we're doing everything we can, even outside of the hotspot. So US Cellular, we want to say thank you. And Melissa, we thank you so much for everything you've done for us as well throughout. And we're just fortunate to be one of those organizations that we're able to bring this to. So now it don't stop with just in this room. Of course, this is for Nashville, this is for Tarboro. We even got access for Spring Hope. You know, wherever we have programs at, if we need the access, we have 115 right now that we can utilize. And we're going to do that now. That's DURELL's job to make sure that everyone gets access that need access. Yes. So again, thank you. And before I leave the podium, I'm going to call up another. You see, protocol have been established, but I got another one of my good friends who also happen to be my pastor. Just walked in and who happens to also be a sitting state congressman. So James GAILLIARD, if you come up, I know you want to say a few words.
Hey everybody, good to see y'all. I think Ryan has pretty much said it all, but I do want to begin by thanking US Cellular. I was just at a press conference in Nashville with the governor at a COVID testing site in a McDonald's. And I was talking about the importance of collaboration, public-private partnerships, and how government and grassroots agencies and corporations like US Cellular need to work together to help bridge some of the gaps that we have, particularly in our lower wealth and our rural communities. And so broadband access to internet, it's like water now. So we talk about infrastructure, water and wastewater and sewer and electric and gas, and broadband and Wi-Fi is right up there. And so this opens up some tremendous doors. So I just wanted to quickly thank Ryan Green and the Boys and Girls Club. I think is one of the most stellar organizations addressing the issues of young people in our state. And I think we'd be remiss in not giving them a appreciate the leadership of our mayor, our city councilman, and again to US Cellular, man, for the partnerships. And this is how it works. Public-private partnerships coming together to address the real issues. So on behalf of the North Carolina General Assembly and the state representative, and on behalf of our 75th governor, Roy Cooper, thank you for this gift. Thank you for this partnership. And we're looking forward to y'all taking great advantage of it. We're working on something. I'm gonna let the little cat out a little bit. But we're working on something. This is why something like this is so important. How many of y'all have cell phones? How many of you like to be on your cell phones? So we are working on a mobile test app process where when you come to the Boys and Girls Club, you're going to be able to pull out your cell phone, and for 30 minutes we're going to give you an app to test. You're going to be able to test that app, and then we're going to provide feedback back to those app developers. Going to create money and jobs for the community, for all of you, and will help organizations like the Boys and Girls Club. We could never even dream about programs like this if we don't have the access to the internet. And so this is major. I want to thank y'all for it. And Ryan, again, thank you for your work and giving me a chance to say hello.
Hey, that's awesome. Well, we can't do this without them. I just want to say thank you to the staff and the team for making sure that our young people that are in the room have access to everything that they need in order to become successful, to grow, to be positive, productive in our community. Because at the end of the day, you know, things like, you know, Reverend GAILLIARD, you know, just said, I don't say representative because he had a representative hat on his head. But what he just said wouldn't be possible if we didn't have the partnerships like we have with US Cellular. But also wouldn't be possible if we didn't have the young people that's in this room that make it happen for us. So we appreciate y'all. Right? We appreciate y'all for being so amazing. And we look for some amazing things out of you for this school year. I know last year was pretty tough, but you persevered. Now this year, we want to do even better, okay?
Right.
And we're going to give you every tool that you need in your tool belt. As we say, this is part of your success starter kit. It's This is part of it, because we want you to have access to everything to help you become successful. So thank you again, USL. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you for coming out. Appreciate the mayor and our representatives for coming out, and our board president, Todd, for coming out to be a part of this, because as you have access to this, you also have access to them. And that's what makes this thing so beautiful. And Boys and Girls Club bring people to the table to help you, to grow to be positive, productive in our community. All right? All right. If nothing else, I want to say thank you, appreciate you, and Durell, I'll let you get back to doing what y'all are doing up here on the screen. Oh, let me say this right quick while we're here. This is our Leadership Engineering Academic Development Lab. We had a grant from Kiwanis Club that allowed us to put this lab together. As you can see, we have a 3D, one of the 3D printers going here. We can't do stuff like this if it wasn't for being able to have hotspots, to be able to connect to the internet, to download, because as you know, this takes a lot of time, a lot of bandwidth, those type of things to do those things, but you have access to it. I don't know too many other places in the area that have access to 3D printing and have a lab, something like this, that they can work out of. So it's just another piece to help us do these things, that we bringing everyone into, I guess we say, the 21st century, and beyond. Y'all are the citizens of the future for our community. So we got to get you right. We got to get you ready. So thank y'all for everything you do and making this happen for our young people. So.